Hello, folks, and welcome to the Friend or Foe series, season 4. I am your friend or foe, friendly neighborhood shoutcaster, Sharigan, and I am joined by once again our good friend Lolo. How you doing, Lolo?
I'm pretty good, thank you, Sharigan. I'm really looking forward to these games. It's a beautiful start to the week. It's a start to Lunar Week 5, and let's just get into it.
Absolutely. Let's hop right into it. And I just want to say right off the bat, I love these two bans. Getting rid of the Draven, you get rid of like one of the strongest ADCs in the game right now from a pure damage perspective. And then you get rid of Leona, well, probably my favorite support. I think she just brings so much versatility to the team, even though a lot of people say it's very one note. Not wrong, but if they can't move, they can't do anything. So.
Absolutely, yeah. And Leona, of course, one of Kevin's most played champion at the moment. So they just, COF just don't want to have to deal with that. That's very understandable. And the Galio as well. We have seen an awful lot of combos with the Galio into things like the Camille, the Jarvan. I think COF might have sort of a handle on what SKL want to do here. Maybe they have an idea that they've seen it in previous games, so they want to go for that sort of, global wombo combo style. So we'll see. I mean, it is a very understandable ban. It's very strong at the moment with the Predator. And the Amumu being taken off the table as well. We've seen a lot of support Amumu recently. The bandage wrap, the double charges on the Q, really making this a very viable pick in the support role for the CC lockdown.
Absolutely, yeah. And just getting rid of it, Beshiwap, he loves those. Honestly, it's kind of funny. If you look at just the roster for Friend or Foe, we like our hook supports, our heavy engaged supports, and we don't like our assassins. We don't have a lot of assassins. That's something I would kind of honestly like to see a little bit of a shakeup. I know Zed was given a little bit of a buff in the jungle, so that can make jungle Zed theoretically viable. And with how squishy some of these teams like to build, it's probably not the worst idea in the world and might actually work out pretty well. We can see skill base getting their wombo combo set up, starting off with the Jarvan pick. It's not a bad blind pick because if you're confident on the champ, you can go into a lot of matchups where you'd usually be behind, and it just provides a lot of CC utility for the team as a general whole. I am interested to see what exactly Paytime is going to be pulling out for this. It'll be really kind of interesting. So that's going to be something to keep an eye out for. And then just in general, I think this mid lane Theracles is also going to be something we need to watch as well, just because we've been seeing a lot of Corki, a lot of really good picks on him. And I kind of want to see him on a carry because I think that in all honesty, skill base does really well when they put him on something strong.
Absolutely. I believe Ari's one of his most played picks. The Galio as well, though. And so it's quite understandable if they did smell something there with the first pick Jarvan. It is very, very strong, as you said, in the meta. And the Shen as well, I think I can see some idea of what SKL might be wanting to do, which is to potentially play around their mid laner and their ADC with a lot of supportive champions. So they're trying to get rid of those, the Leona, the Galio, the Shen, lots of global presence from those last two. We are going to see a Trundle coming out and an immediate answer with the Mundo. Now, this is very interesting because you don't necessarily want to field too many tanks into a Trundle because of how good he is against them. I think this is very, very bold from Royshal if he is going to be playing this, and with the Jarvan as the first pick, one would assume it's going into the top side. So, presuming this isn't going to be a top Trundle, I mean, of course it could be, but either way, it's going to make this Mundo a little bit less threatening in those team fights when the subjugate's put on top of him. The Morgana's coming out as well, and this I think is a bit of a flex because I believe Theracles plays a decent amount of Morgana mid, right?
He does play Morgana mid. I've seen him do it. He hasn't played it this season yet. We have not actually seen Morgana picked for skill base. So we don't need, I'm not positive on Kevin's comfortability on the champ, considering that they play a lot of Nautilus and Leona. They have pulled out an Anami and a Lulu game as well. It's kind of one of those things where it's not a bad pick at all. And they're definitely going for some lockdown where if you can get the Cataclysm out, you can easily get a nice Dark Binding at the same time. You can get a Binding and then Cataclysm on top of that. So just really both directions, that'll set things up pretty well. I think the Mundo pick is going to be one of those safe picks for Royshal because we see that he likes to, I call it limit testing. I've heard other people call it something else. But we've seen him pick Dr. Mundo a couple of times, so it seems like a champ he's pretty comfortable on. So going into this matchup, most likely against the Trundle because Graviel has taken it a few times themselves. Paytem's taken the Trundle. So going into this Camille, I honestly think is going to be really tough, but he's going for that sustain build most likely to kind of keep himself alive.
Yeah, and Camille, of course, has just been nerfed on this patch. She's not quite as scary with the trades as she was because the passive has a longer cooldown. So the Mundo is probably going to be feeling a little bit happier in that top lane matchup as he might be in previous versions, just because the grasp trades are possibly going to be able to favor him if Roy plays the matchup correctly. And we are going to see a Seraphine ban. This is with the Leona already taken away. I believe this is Kevin's second most played champion, at least on his account.
Yeah, no, it is a pretty popularly played champion. So it's I'm just kind of wondering like so we already see the Corki taken away. Although ironically enough, it's on the skill based side, so they don't want RHC pulling it out. He's pulled out some Victor and some Corki pretty regularly. So just getting rid of those mid lane carries. I think what Church of Alfonso is attempting to do is they want to be able to get these really good team fight comps. You've got the major slows coming out with Ashe and Trundle that are going to allow Camille to just jump onto that back line in order to try and separate everybody. And even though Camille was nerfed, she still will just completely delete your ADC if they're allowed to get on top of them. We see Caitlyn getting taken away as well, and most likely the Orianna. Probably I don't know if the Orianna ban is something that they noticed RHC likes to play. It's not something they've pulled out in this league yet. So it's probably just kind of like a look. We know that Orianna is a good choice, so we just want him to want to take the Victor. All right, and then just kind of like it's one of those things where I love how we're just kind of dragging these picks out right now. So trying to think what we're gonna most likely. Yep, see right there, we already see Victor. Might be switching over. We're taking a Rise this game. That's gonna be kind of interesting. I think I might have lost my co-caster. Oh no!
I'm back. What did I miss? I'm so sorry.
We got a Rise instead of a Victor pick.
This keeps happening to me precisely the moment I go live. It really feels like my Zen internet here in the UK is trying desperately to ruin my casting career. Anyway, the Rise in the mid lane, I think, is it's going to be scaling decently, and of course, it provides a lot of global presence, which is going to be very nice in moving into these side lanes with the Trundle and the Camille as well. So that's going to limit the split pushing capabilities that this Mundo may have slightly later on in the game. Now, the Caitlyn, has been banned out, so obviously the next best pick is going to be the Tristana, I think. Caitlyn definitely
has a decent. They have a decent Tristana. The last game they played them, they went 6-6-3, so not the worst in the world. Kind of a pretty good lane for them. We do see the Nautilus getting picked up, which is probably a steal away from Beshiwap. They just want to keep him from picking up something that he's really comfortable on. That is going to leave both the Rel and the Braum open, though, which I kind of expect to see them pull out. I'd probably want like the Braum in this instance, just because it'll provide your ADC that much more safety and a lot more protection. An Alistar would definitely be a good pick here as well. It'll be a good counter engage to the Nautilus hooks, because even if you're hooked in, you'll have an easy knock away if you want to do that, or you can just basically continue to engage and jump on the ADC because you're that much closer. So I think that that's a really good pickup on the side of Beshiwap. So it's going to be a really interesting fight in this bot lane between Cold Blaster and Beshi versus Zishan and Kevin. Although, just with the nature of these two teams and how they're looking, I like skill-based comp on paper. It's going to be a question of this Morgana mid against the Rise that's going to be kind of interesting. And I think is actually going to be a little bit dangerous. The Black Shield will definitely protect them from the Rise cage and a lot of the extra damage that's going to be coming out, just because he likes to burst you down. You can use the Black Shield as an offensive tool rather than just a CC tool.
Yeah, and I think it'll try as... it'll be as much as possible like trying to stop the amount of engage that COF has. I think overall, based on these two comps, I mean, as you said, if it goes towards the mid lane matchup, the Jarvan definitely has a lot of early gank potential. The Tristana, Zishan, obviously one of the biggest big players on the side of SKL. If he gets a chance to scale, it could definitely be working for him. But COF, I think, have a pretty good setup here. They've got a lot of CC lockdown, and it'll be actually very difficult, I think, for the carries to get in. So they're who I'm going to be going for. How about you?
I honestly am going to be leaning on COF just because I feel like their vision game is going to be a little bit stronger. Because that's one of the things that skill base has got to have this game. They've got to know where Graviel is at all times, because if they don't, then that's just going to mean that he will end up getting a lot down. And one thing to point out that's kind of interesting is Paytime's actually in the top lane. Graviel is the one in the jungle.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so they did have a little bit of a switch up. Not a bad idea, just because Paytime on the Camille is pretty scary.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the ignite, of course, as well, he is going to be looking to try to get some solo kills in the lane with that aggressive summoner spell. We did see a little bit of posturing in the river with a 5-man from the side of SKL, but nothing too much came from it. They didn't even actually get too much vision down either. So it doesn't look like anything too crazy is going to be starting up. You do notice that Graviel has gone for the immediate. He's gone for the ward into the sweeper, so he is going to be potentially looking for some ganks early when he's got that sweeper down, so he can get the vision out. So both the junglers going to be pathing up towards the top lane, and we do feel like potentially there is going to be quite a lot of contestation in this top side river, particularly if Paytime manages to get an early push with his Camille.
I feel like they're pinging that red ward. Oh, good hook right there, just to get a nice bit of engage off early on. That's going to be a decent amount of damage, as Beshiwap's going to have to take a bomb to the face in order to kind of just walk away from that. What I was going to say, though, is if you see that red ward on the side, on the blue, over by the blue buff on bot side, it's kind of like in a really awkward spot, and it's not exactly going to provide you a lot of information because that's not a traditional jungle path, although Jarvan is going to be walking right over it after crossing through this mid lane.
Yeah, he is. However, he is going to be pathing up towards his top side to begin with, and as I say that though,
good flash in order to get this engage off right here. Beshiwap taking a lot of damage. He is hit with that bomb. It's going to do a lot of damage, and the ignite is out. It's not going to take him down though, and we see that Zishan basically matched him for health, and unfortunately, the support is the one you want to have such a low amount of health, and there's not as much sustain on the side of right here. Look at this. This is exactly what I mean. See, Lucky Fridge walked over that ward. He's going to take the ignite, so he's actually going to go down right here as first blood is going to be picked up by the Camille. That was a really good engage. That ward that I mentioned saying not going to do very much actually ended up doing a lot. And we have another ward placed down there because Camille now has double buff.
Yeah, she does. Like, this is going to be so hard for Royshao to do much in the lane now with all of that on the Camille. She doesn't have to worry about management much anymore. She can just trade as aggressively as she wants to, even with the ignite down. And it's pushes on both side lanes now for the side of COF.
I mean, look at this poor Rochelle. He's taking so much damage, and Paytime is taking a huge amount of minion aggro, but they're just going to be able to like wait for that to disengage, and then they'll just heal right back up with their pots. They'll heal or their biscuits, and then they've also got the double buff, like I said, so they're just healing up right off of that. That's going to leave them in a really good spot for this gank where Graviel is just kind of waiting in the wings. Yeah, there we go. We got the field coming up, pillars coming up. That's going to be a nice jump using the terrain in order to get the sun off. Good teamwork right there. Paytime getting a lot of damage off. That's not going to result in a kill, but that is a really good combination right there. And it's kind of like, oh, wow, that's brilliant.
Yeah, and it's tough for Royshao right here. I mean, the wave's pushing towards Paytime, so he's going to be able to go clear that up. And he may walk back to lane. He did have to burn his flash, as I say that.
Good, unnecessary flash, I should say, actually, by Beshiwap. He flashed whenever he was going to be completely missed by that Dark Binding. It does get him over the wall into safety, so he doesn't have to worry about walking down river in order to get out. But it was probably a little unnecessary.
Well, he's got the Hex Flash, so I suppose he's not too worried about burning that just to make sure he stays alive and allows his bot lane Cold Blaster to just continue to, even out the lane and not allow Zishan to get too much value off of that. So they are going to get pushed in, but
especially with that, fine because Trundle's already on his way down.
Yeah, it's not a problem right now. I mean, they're going to have protection if they do go for some sort of dive here. So.
Right there, good job, Paytime using the wall to go ahead and get that nice hook shot in. Getting a nice bit of damage right there. Not getting the outer edge damage. They aren't going to get the slow, and this is just going to be Royshao engaging right on top of them, taking a lot of damage from those cleavers, and that is going to be the auto attack, picking up a kill for Royshao.
And really, like, without the ignite, this Mundo's incredibly tanky, and you know he's got the Sheen now, but obviously just before then, and with the amount of minions that he was sitting on in that wave, it's just not really a fight he wanted to take. And I think after that initial kill onto the Jarvan, he was maybe feeling himself a little bit too much. But he gets the TP off. It's not the end of the world, yeah.
Yep, it's going to be a nice TP from Roy. Royshell's going to force out a pay time in order to continue this. Nice engage right here. Lucky Fridge trying to jump onto RHC. RHC getting a nice bit of damage onto their own health bar, unfortunately. Goodness. That is going to be Zishan jumping on top of Cold Blaster, getting a nice bomb off. That is not going to be a 4th shot proc, as they're going to have to retreat as Trundle has decided to make his home in this bot lane. We've got a TP coming out from blue side. That is going to be Royshell joining this fight, trying to protect, or sorry, Theracles coming down to join this fight. That's going to be the Ignite coming out and a lot of damage, because all of that is AD damage. None of that was max damage, so it was not actually blocked by the max shield in that sense. So unfortunately, the Tristana is going to go down. And in the top lane, we have the continued fight right here. Pay time jumping right on top of Royshell.
Yeah, and he's going to get the push in. And as you said, that Trundle hovering that bot side, even with the vision they had in the river, SKL, just a little bit of an overextension there, and they got heavily punished for it. And Theracles came in, tried to help even out the numbers, but he crucially was not level 6. Sadly, there was a beautiful Soul Shackle angle there if he had that ability leveled already, but just there, he really couldn't do much apart from throw a binding. So it's going to give a big, already a 2k gold lead for the side of COF, and they're going to pick themselves up a first Drake. And right now, Sharigan, I want to hear from you as the prophet of the Drakes. What is the soul?
You know, I have been so bad at guessing, at figuring what these things out. It feels like the magic just isn't with me lately. Looking at both of these, I really feel that it's probably going to end up being, most likely, I want it to be an Infernal Drake, just because I feel like the damage that's going to be coming out, it would be really useful for an Infernal Drake, because otherwise I would go Cloud.
I'm going to go Mountain. I'm saying Mountain. I don't know why, I looked at the Mundo for a second, I'm like, it's a Mountain.
Good Hex Flash. It's going to catch Zishan in the middle of their jump, so that's actually going to be a really interesting interaction. They're placed in not exactly the spot they want. We got the Hextech Ultimatum coming out from Paytime, as he's going to be able to capture the Royshell right there, and that's going to be a good Runic Prison as they get rooted and then ripped to shreds by Granny Blade Legs. And that is going to be another knock-up on Zishan. This is such a dangerous Alistar engage. He can just jump right on top of you. Cold Blaster is able to hit from a distance. And that is going to be a good disengage, though, by Kevin. We do see Lucky Fridge trying to get his buffs, but at the same time, he's just got the enemy team living in his topside jungle. And they're just really not letting him take camps easily.
Yeah, poor Lucky Fridge just not having a great time this game. He's not super far down on CS, but I mean, Grabiel is getting so much done around the map at the moment. He's been ganking mid, he's been ganking top, and it's looking really, really tough for the SKL side right now. They haven't managed to get too much done across the map in terms of objectives yet. They scale very well, so at least with the Tristana, so that's.
They will
play around
scale decently. It's this Morgana in the mid lane that's, I think, going to be kind of, and I don't want to say it's going to be the weak link, but it's going to be a little bit of an interesting piece to play around. Makes their team comp a little bit more difficult just by the nature of the champ. So, it's not really able to, dive and survive. No. It does want to get in deep. So as soon as we see Theracles pick up their stopwatch, they might be able to do a really nice engage, but it's going to be a little bit before that's even online. Otherwise, they are going to go into the Zonias. Interesting choice, taking the double Doran's Ring, just trying to get that sustained from a mana perspective so that they can try and zone out this Rise.
Yeah, he had to go for an early base there to pick that off, and he did burn his TP later on. There is going to be a push now for COF in the bot side. It's going to allow Cold Blaster to go back and pick up some more items, which at the moment he's lacking a little bit of damage, and this is hopefully going to be allowing him to get his Noon Quiver on deck for.
Yeah, that is such gross wave clear from Rise right there. It's just it's so nasty. He just instantly destroys it. Look at this Beshiwap looking for an engage on the side. Lucky Fridge is going to see him. He's going to try and jump on him, but that's going to be Beshi just walking away, completely avoiding it.
Beshi missing pings that. I think he's like, what was that?
Yep.
Either way, he gets out scot-free. His flash is back up. He's chilling.
It's probably a good thing he missed that, because they would have started that engage and Rise would have been right there. Yeah. And Rise has got a decent amount of CS right now, and RHC is just looking really scary. Look at this. We got Kevin flashing on top of Cold Blaster. He's not able to get the auto attack off, so he has to drop the ultimate, get the death charge down. It is going to mean Zishan dives under tower in order to try and continue this engage. He does get ignited, so he's going to have to walk away, getting himself some health to stay alive to avoid getting hit by Cold Blaster. Cold Blaster doing a good job getting a decent amount of auto attacks onto this Lucky Fridge, doing a lot of damage. Beshiwap trying to keep them alive. The sustain is very real right there. We see Tristana continuing the fight, jumping right into a Trundle, though. He's trying to get himself a kill before he goes down, but it's not going to work as the troll just takes a bite out of Crime and eats him up. And then he eats up Jarvan as well. That is going to be a very heavy stuffed troll.
And I can understand them wanting to try to get that engage onto Cold Blaster initially, but Beshiwap played that fight very, very nicely. Immediate headbutt the Tristana into the turret, so forcing out the heal, the ultimate immediately. And after that, I mean, she was allowed to free hit for quite a long time, but he even came in and tried to, deny the Jarvan as well, and it bought so much time that there was a rotate down.
Right here we have a point-blank binding missed. Unfortunately, Theracles getting caught in the Hextech ultimatum means that they're just going to go down instantly. Their Black Shield, I believe, was on cooldown, so they were not able to avoid the lockdown from that Hextech ultimatum, which I believe you can with the Black Shield.
You can if you time it correctly, I believe, yes. It's so tough for the side of SKL right now. I was talking to Theracles a little bit before the game, and he was saying, well, we feel like a lot of the time we're losing ourselves because of poor execution. And I feel that there is a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of just...
It's like it's the little micro stuff. Like if you just happen to have some issues and it just doesn't play out the way you want it to, it can just have huge repercussions throughout the course of the game. I mean, just that little walk right there for Kevin, walking right into a position where the pillar is able to get dropped right in front of him, almost trapping him against that wall, means that it's like just little things like that really affect your mental as the micro is missed, and it overall will eventually start affecting your macro. Because I don't think SKL is even going to try contesting this. They really need to try and find something. They're walking right into Beshiwap. Beshiwap's going to get a huge knockup, getting both of them, and that's going to be the Crystal Arrow finding Kevin as well, locking him down. He's going to be trapped right there, dropping the depth charge to try and survive, but the Inferno Blaze is going to reveal, basically just rip away a lot of this map now. I got it this time. I wasn't as confident in that call. It's like I wanted it, but it's just like maybe my mojo's back, so it's like we'll have to see next game.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. I want to see 2 for 2. Anyway, as you said, they weren't able to contest that Drake. It's Graviel's becoming a real problem right now, as is Paytime. Like he's been able to pick up so many resources now, and Fridge. Okay.
Ooh, we got a nice hook onto RHC, pulling him in. That is going to be a lot of damage, and that is going to be Zishan picking up a kill.
Love it, and that's what we want to see from SKL. I mean, I think that their way back into this game is very much to play around the Tristana right now. She's the one who's got the most resources and can do the most damage, and the team's comp does, very nicely complement the amount of damage she can bring out.
Did you see that damage from the charge?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, he had Ignite as well, so I think that, they're going to look for this dive.
They are definitely going to be looking for this dive because this is a super easy dive to go in. You see, he just gets a nice knockup on Rochelle. There's nothing he can do. That is going to be him picking up a kill, though, as the tower gets up the final shot. Paytime dancing around these tower shots, getting so much damage onto Theracles. Watch this. We got the nice root right there. It's going to be a stun, and it's going to be Paytime picking up a kill as Thera just walked a little bit too far away from his tower. That is going to be the Hextech ultimatum coming out as a lot of damage from Paytime is going to be dropped. Crystal Arrow is going to get a good stun onto Kevin using his big body to block. Look at the healing on Graviel, taking down Lucky Fridge potentially. That is insane.
And he's got to back away. I mean, I think
look at his Paytime's getting a little bit too big for his bridges right there, taking a lot from those. That's going to be the shutdown gold going on to him. Graviel's already full health though, as he just got healed up from that grump, and Lucky Fridge is like, I got this. Wait, no, I don't. How is he already that healthy? And then we got the huge amount of damage coming out from him right there. Just the healing is insane. Beshi flashing out in order to stay alive. We've got Rochelle looking to pick himself up another kill. He's going to get stunned, though, by the Alistar, and that's just going to be Graviel's going to continue this shove. He's going to heal himself up, chomping on some minions, and that, it was a really extended team fight that just got so bad for SKL, is that on all that healing.
It's crazy. I mean, Paytime was literally sitting between the tier 1 and tier 2s, just chilling. Like, there was no one who could match him. I really thought for a second that Zishan was going to take him down, but you were saying it, the amount of damage coming out from that precision protocol, that Q.
It's just
blew
so
him
strong,
up.
so strong. Look at this. We got a nice engage right there. That is going to be Beshiwap taken down. He's going to get bursted by the Zishan. Zishan is finally able to get some damage off onto Graviel. This is where Tristana is going to start coming into play. Good flash hook, but it's going to miss as it hits a chicken instead.
Oh no! And Zishan can't catch a break. Wait.
He's going to go down to red buff at this rate.
He's going to get it. His team are going to get it for him, I think.
Ally's
That's
going to
fine.
help him get it. He's going to get that final shot off. He's going to now start healing up, so that should help him out a little bit there. So one of the things that we need to see on the side of SKL is just some healing reduction. Unfortunately, there's not anything built yet. So that is what they really need something in order to cut this Trundle's health regen down, because during that last fight, that is the reason why Lucky Fridge was not able to take him down.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's very hard when you're so far behind, though, because you do have to delay your build path in order to pick that up. And he's only just getting himself a gore drink. Look, the poor guy's at 60 CS at 16 minutes. He's really not had a good time. His topside jungle has been the property of COF for most of this game.
It really has, unfortunately. He's got to start taking gold from somewhere.
And they're going to be able to pick up this Herald as well. There's not much they can do about this. No, they're just going to have to watch that.
Not. You could have gone for a spicy dash-in smite, but just wasn't really what they were looking for.
No, unfortunately. And at this stage of the game, they're going to just have to try to farm up as best they can, because at the moment they can't take skirmishes anymore. I mean, the Camille, the Trundle, RHC has been farming up very nicely, and Cold Blast is coming online slowly as well with the shield bow. So they're just so far behind on items. It's really only the Tristana that's like keeping up, and because of that, like as you said, this Morgana.
I like this waiting in the wings, trying to get this catch onto Graviel. Good amount of CC and a nice bit of knockup. That is the way you do it. SKL, they get that shutdown gold onto their carry, so that means that Zishan's going to start getting really, really heavy. That's going to be a bit more damage. They're not going to continue the engage, though. They're avoiding that. That was really, really smart. We do have Paytime coming in, though, and he's going to basically shred through Nautilus's health bar. There's nothing to do. Ooh, that crystal arrow is going to mean that this is going to be over for poor Lucky Fridge. That was really unlucky right there. We've got the nice jump, though, from Zishan to dodge. That was really well played.
Yeah, crucially, of course, like Lucky Fridge getting caught out there, it means that there's, again, very little contestation on this
Once again, Hextech Ultimatum coming out, but he's not going to be able to get it down in time, so that means that it is going to come out. He's going to get trapped. We are going to see Paytime forced out of there. Good binding onto Cold Blast in order to keep him there. We do have the hook shot coming through, though, and that is going to be a lot of damage from Paytime's Precision Protocol. Once again, completely shredding through SKL's team members. At this point, he has got a couple of levels on them, and that is just providing so much of an advantage for him.
They have to commit 3 members at least to taking down this Camille at this stage, and they don't have the...
Good flash by Roy Shaw to avoid that engage.
Yeah, he's going to have to back up again. And, I mean, I said this before, like, they're going to have to try to wait for the Tristana to scale, really, because the Morgana and the Jarvan right now, like, Theracles has not had a particularly good time. Just with some plays have definitely, like, I've liked what he's been trying to do for sure, but he's having to play. It's a utility pick, and he's going to have to play around his team. And at this stage, so is Fridge. I mean, Fridge still has the engage.
And look at this. Paytime missing the stun means that Zishan's just basically going to pick up a free amount of damage right there. But unfortunately, Beshiwap comes in to basically shut down that engage as Zishan just overextended.
Once again, he feels like the Camille's low enough that he can burst him down, but you saw the amount of shield come from that
nice knock-up. Pillar basically says it's time to go as we have Jarvan jumping in there, but unfortunately he's trapped in the Cataclysm with a Trundle and an Ashe. That was very much a situation he didn't want to be in. Right now we have Beshiwap jumping over the wall, getting a nice knock-up onto Kevin and onto Theracles. Theracles going golden, but unfortunately he didn't drop down the ultimate, so that means that it was not timed well enough to get the root off. And then we have the Rift Herald dropped here in the mid lane. This is going to be a double smack. I think we're going to see this mid lane turret go down, and we're probably going to see the inhibitor turret go down as well.
I would say so, yes. I mean,
it doesn't even get a charge off onto the mid lane turret. They just destroy it.
Yeah, they might be able to pick up inhib on this as well.
Ooh, we have a nice jump in on the backline by Paytime as he's ready to get paid. He gets a Hextech Ultimatum off, and then we have Ashe right here in the back. doing a nice bit of damage onto Royshell, basically just kind of peppering him. In the meantime, we have the rest of SCOF taking down Skill Base. That's going to be the inhibitor down. That means that these minions are going to get taken down as well, and we're going to see a charge from Shelly onto this next turret, and that is going to be Beshiwap going down to Theracles as he gets caught by the pool. The corruption pool does go down, but we are going to see them already hitting this Nexus. Unfortunately, the only member alive is going to be the Morgana. Morgana is going to get exploded before he has a chance to get the Dark Channel off, and that means that this is going to be a nice pickup at a 20-minute and 30-second game for Church of Alfonso.
Pretty clean. No Dancing Herald, sadly, but aside from that, couldn't ask for more for COF right there. And there was some plays in the early game which just really took the game out of SKL's hands, and I just think I really like what they were trying to do, but the comp ultimately was very much trying to get this Tristana online as the main source of damage, and they never really managed it. This Camille became a true 1v9 raid boss way too early on for them to handle, and Paytime was just running around the map killing him. So I'm not sure what we could do.
Front line of Mundo, Jarvan, and Nautilus doesn't really do you too much whenever you've got a hook shot diving onto your back line. So just basically avoiding it entirely.
Yeah, it's really, really hard. There's only so much peel that you can deal with when there is, as you say, a Hextech ultimatum with a hook shot, and behind that, of course, we've got a Trundle and Alistair. It's COF. They knew what they were drafting for. They were going to basically just dive on the back line and do whatever they liked to, just walking past this poor Mundo. So SKL, I do like what they were going for. I think that there was some great ideas. There were some plays that went their way in the very early stages of the game, but again, as Theracles said to me, there were some things that they overextended on. Maybe could have played out a bit differently, and maybe we could have seen a different game. But ultimately, it is going to be another win on the board for COF. I think this is the first time these teams have played each other, and they are going to take the 1-0 there. And yeah, put them 5-4 and looking in a more comfortable state for playoffs.
Yep, very comfortable state for playoffs. Church of Alfonso is doing pretty well right now. They're showing that despite the fact that a lot of those wins were from games that they were not able to play, it doesn't really matter too much. Yeah, they're like, we'll take them. It's fine. We would have won them anyway. So I think that's a really, really good thing to keep in mind there. This is not a team to take lying down. With that, we'll go ahead and take a quick break and be right back with an interview. So stick around. Hello, folks, and welcome back. Sharagan coming at you, and I have joining me today is Graviel. He is, I believe this was your debut game in the jungle with Church of Alfonso?
Indeed, it was.
Yes, well, so tell me a little bit about that. Like, I guess you were coming in as extra sub?
Yeah, so a while ago, I decided to, because I've been playing on PTP forever, but with the 2 leagues, I decided to just kind of throw my hat out there and see if anybody wanted to pick up a sub or anything like that.
You just wanted to see if the grass was actually greener on the other pastures?
Yeah, pretty much. And then COF hit me up, and I just kind of tried out with them, and this is we did a little tryout game. We did 1 game, and then I was trying out today too, pretty much. And I feel it went pretty well.
I like the idea of they're like, yeah, we're pretty secure in our position. We'll just go ahead and do a tryout game in the middle of an actual match.
Yeah.
So go ahead, give me a little bit of a breakdown. Who was kind of like leading the draft for this game?
I believe it was Paytime was mainly doing the draft. I know we have a coach that does some prep work and stuff like that, but it was like the whole conversation and everything like that was pretty much Paytime, and then we just kind of give our input and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm guessing going up against skill based, you kind of had a general idea of what they were going to be doing, and it seemed like you basically were able to, like that initial red ward, I was not sold on it, although Lucky Fridge did walk right over it.
Yeah, yep.
So it's like, I gotta ask, like, was that kind of like a planned sort of thing, or do you think you kind of got lucky where you were able
I think
to
it was just luck.
Just luck on that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys were able to shut down that bot lane, which I think was probably your biggest fear, was just worrying about that Tristana. What did you guys think, like, because I noticed the Ryze pickup, was that intended to counter the Morgana mid lane?
Our mid laners we were bouncing between either Ryze or Victor, and we just kind of settled on the Ryze because it gives us a little bit stronger of the top. We were kind of playing around with the idea of, like, we knew our bot side was going to be a little bit weaker, so we wanted a 3-man top that was going to be a lot stronger. So that's why we went with like the Camille, the Trundle, and the Ryze.
Okay. Well, it certainly seems like this game actually went pretty well for you. So I guess, how do you see your future with Church of Alfonso?
I mean, I hope they enjoyed what I did today, and I hope I can keep playing with them. From the sounds of it, I should be playing with them tomorrow as well. So,
you know, with the performance you put out here today, I think they'd be a little crazy not to. So Graviel, I gotta say thank you so much for dropping by.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
It was fantastic. And with that, folks, just stick around. We'll be right back after a short break.